So since then, we have the IRB, and you have to apply to do is protection of human subjects research. So, I also have. How many of you plan on taking the social work license exam? I have just questions when I taught at NKU in their BSW program. A guy did this PowerPoint that is a practice exam. If you want it, I can put it up into our, let me find it for you. So I can share that with you. I think I have to save it first too. So any questions for how to do your eco map? Did anybody download the app that tracks you? How is it?
I didn't put any information into it yet.
Okay. You just have to allow it to access your movement, and it tells you where you go every day. They're already tracking us on some of that stuff anyway. So the one that I had that was helpful was that it knew, like today, it knew that I had gone out and ran only 45 minutes. Yesterday was an hour and 2 minutes. And the day before I ran for an hour and 4. It has how long you drove for the day, the different locations, places. So if y'all have an interest in this, I will upload it to your site. If you want study tests for the licensure exam, I know you don't take it till your senior year at the earliest, but the best way to get ready is practice. Like a practice exam. What did you all take? SAT or ACT?
SAT.
I never took ACT. Is that like a normal one nowadays? There it is. All right, I will upload this for you all if I can find your thing. There you are. Let's do study exam. So yeah, if before you take the test, you take the study exam, it'll help you pass it. Does this come to you on an email? Like, how does it show up for you? Announcements? Does it send you an email? Does it? No? So you have to go into announcements and look at it like this? So there it is if you want to download and save it, because I don't know how long you'll have access to the class. And then that way, you can practice for your exams. All right, we were more than halfway through this. So, does anyone have a niece or a nephew that's 2 years old? Oh, is she 2?
She's 3.
Do you notice any of this stuff? So like at 1 month, they can look at you, follow your face. At 5 months, they can turn your head to look for a drop spoon. They hear it and they look. 7 months, they find hidden objects. Like you used to be able to just put a blanket over something and they don't know that you hid it from them. Or you can play peekaboo because they're like, dude, they just disappeared all the way. That's why babies are so good with peekaboo. 10, once they uncover the toy under the cloth. 12 to 18, they do not understand invisible displacements. That's peekaboo. So from like 12 months to a year and a half, they're like, peekaboo, where'd they just go? And at 2 years, they have full object permanence, which means they can hold an image or a person in their mind and know where the cookies are kept, so they can find hidden stuff. So Piaget is one of the theorists. They may ask you the name on the test, but they ask more like about sensory motor stage from birth to 2 years. And that's through circular reactions. They develop random reflexes to intentional goal-directed behaviors. So you learn so much with kids. How do babies process information? So they observe how long an infant will look at or fixate on something interesting and do not be distracted by it. So once the kid sees something new, it goes under habituation, where they become uninterested in the stimulus and respond less to it after it is repeatedly presented to them. So maybe like a toy that makes noise or something that lights up. Dishabituation is the increased responsiveness after a change in stimulus. Babies pay more attention to stimuli they haven't seen before, things they have control over, and events they didn't expect to happen. And the implications are those who habituate faster may be brighter at age 12. That's what the research study's showing. I am going to show the Piaget one that I promised you guys. 6 to 7 month old, they display categorization and perhaps have an innate sense of how the world works. So, as mentioned, kids learn stuff a lot. And we got to expose them to things for them to learn it. Okay, here it is. Piaget's theory.
Yeah, you got
That's good. What's that for?
Piaget's theory argues that we have to conquer 4 stages of cognitive development. First, the sensory motor stage. Second, the pre-operational stage. Third, the concrete operational stage. And fourth, the formal operational stage. Only once we have gone through all the stages, at what age can vary, we are able to reach full human intelligence. 1. The sensory motor stage, ages birth to 2. In the sensory motor stage, we develop through experiences and movement our 5 senses. Our brain wants to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch as much as possible. First, we start with simple reflexes, and soon after, we develop our first habits. From 4 months old, we become aware of things beyond our own body, and then as we get older, we learn to do things intentionally. A key milestone is the development of working memory, or in Piaget terms, our realization of object permanence. Before that, our mum can show and then hide a teddy, and we would think it's gone. After, we understand that objects continue to exist, even when we can't see them. We start becoming curious about everything. We want to smell flowers, taste food, listen to sounds, and talk to strangers. To explore more, we move. We learn to sit, crawl, stand, walk, and even to run. This increased physical mobility consequently leads to increased cognitive development. But we remain egocentric, meaning we can perceive the world only from our own point of view.
Oh yeah, is your 3-year-old sister egocentric? Like they can only see it from their point of view is kind of the way to describe it. It takes till 4, 5, and 6 to understand Everybody has their own self and like wants and desires. So I'll let you keep going.
2. The pre-operational stage, ages 2 to 7. Our thinking is mainly categorized through symbolic functions and intuitive thoughts. We have lots of fantasies and believe objects are alive. As we are not able to apply specific cognitive operations, Piaget calls this stage pre-operational. We learn to speak and understand that words, images, and gestures are symbols for something else. When we draw our family, we are not concerned about drawing each person to scale, but rather with their symbolic meanings. We love to play pretend, which allows us to experience something new and learn a lot. At around age 4, most of us become very curious and ask many questions. We want to know everything. We can call it the birth of primitive reasoning. Piaget calls it the intuitive age, because while we realize that we have a vast amount of knowledge, we have no idea how we acquired it. Our thinking in this stage is still pretty egocentric. We think others see the world like we do, and still don't understand that they see it differently. 3. The concrete operational stage, ages 7 to 11. We finally discover logic, and we develop concrete cognitive operations, such as sorting objects in a certain order. One example of this is inductive reasoning, which means that if we see someone eating a cookie, we can draw a conclusion and then make a generalization. And we now get the concept of conservation. We understand that if we pour orange juice from a normal glass to a taller one, the amount stays the same. Our younger sister will pick the taller glass, thinking she gets more. By the same logic, we only now can understand that if 3 plus 5 equals 8, then 8 minus 3 must equal 5. Our brain learns to rearrange our thoughts, to classify and build concrete operational mental structures. For example, we now know that we can reverse an action by doing the opposite. Excited by our new mental abilities, we apply them in conversations, activities, when we learn to write, and in school. As a result, we get to know ourselves better. We begin to understand that our thoughts and feelings are unique and not necessarily those of others. That means that we learn to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. 4. The formal operational stage, age 12 plus. Once we become teenagers, we become formally operational. We now have the ability to think more rationally about abstract concepts and hypothetical events. Our advanced cognitive abilities allow us to understand abstract concepts such as success and failure, love and hate. We form a deeper understanding of our own identity and our morality. We now also think that we understand why people behave the way they behave, and as a result, can become more compassionate. Our brain can now do deductive reasoning, which means we can compare two statements and reach a logical generalization. Our new mental skills allow us to plan our life systematically and prioritize, and we can make assumptions about events that have no necessary relation to reality. We can now also philosophize and just think about thinking itself. Our new sense for our identity now also creates egocentric thoughts, and some start to see an imaginary audience watching them all the time. Piaget believed in lifelong learning, but insisted that the formal operational stage is the final stage of our cognitive development. Jean Piaget's first interests were animals, and he published his first scientific paper on albino sparrows in 1907, when he was just 11 years old. In 1920, he began working with standardized intelligence tests. He realized that younger children consistently make types of mistakes that older children do not. He concluded that they must think differently, and spent the rest of his life studying the intellectual development of children.
So that's Piaget, you guys will get introduced to a bunch of different theories. You see them more in graduate school. One that was most helpful for me was using ecological theory. You'll write your final paper picking and choosing theories as they apply to your life. I'll show you one. Ecological theory is a holistic look at systems view of like how we were brought up and the neighborhood we were born and the things we were exposed to and how it made us who we are today. So cognitive development with language milestones, representation of thoughts and ideas using culturally agreed upon arbitrary signals for the exchange of ideas. These 5 here, so expressive, it's what they say, receptive, the ability to understand, assess through response to request. Ability to learn is innate, but environmental exposure is essential. So you want to get exposed to different things in the environment to learn. In fact, when I wanted to learn Spanish and I just had a book, I did not learn as quickly and easily as when I lived in Nicaragua and had to speak Spanish to find some place to eat or to go locate the bathroom. Interventions for low socioeconomic kids include videos and reading. How do you guys think we should communicate with babies? Like if you can't talk, what would you do to communicate to a baby?
I just play YouTube.
Play YouTube? They do like that. Like,
Food.
give them food, you said? Yeah. So maybe being expressive and being even dramatic.
Catering
And
to them.
what's that?
Like catering to them.
Yeah.
Babies know what they like and what they don't. And once you see what they like and what they don't like, they know how to make it.
What's the video you show them of the dancing like fruit and animals and stuff? They love watching that.
I feel like my little cousins who used to do like movements.
Yeah. Sign
Like,
language.
Like wanted something.
Yeah.
So like when they want food, like eat
Mhm.
something like that because it'd be easier.
Yeah, you can teach them like a sign language, like more. I think that's the one. So, okay. Then, okay, up until they talk, I told you the last one I had just turned 1 year old. So she is, I want to see if I have her here. I gotta sign in again. Dang it. Let's try it. Yeah, it works. So like he was messing with her today, like sliding up and down the steps. She's learning to crawl. She kind of stands. She likes to eat the remotes too. Oh yeah, they were rolling last night. You guys ever eat spaghetti like that? You got it all over your face. She's like, where is it? Oh yeah, she put on her Halloween outfit, and then there's one other one that was kind of funny, but so yeah, they're just like learning by being exposed to everything, like the grass and the environment. So at birth, all they can do is crying for language milestones. At 1 to 2 months, they do cooing. At 4 months, they do begin to laugh and smile. At 6 months, babbling and could gesture for up, like pick me up. 9 months, they might say mama or dada. Language specific is at 7 to 11 months. And then at 10 months, they'll start waving bye. It's kind of funny to see how they wave. 12 months is when they'll have their first word or start pointing at things. And then 15 months, they can shake their head no and use 3 to 5 words. They have something called a holophrasic speech. So they'll see a dog and they point to it and say cat. So they'll call every furry animal a cat. And that's what a holophrasic speech is. Also, well, that's overextension. So one word dog can mean the entire category, which is animal. So 18 to 24 months, they use pronouns such as me and have a vocab of 50 words. And they even have telegraphic speech, so they combine 2-word phrases like more drink. Red flags of development are if at 6 months they're not turning to sound or voice, it could be even a hearing problem. At 9 months, lack of babbling, consonant sounds. And then at 24 months, failure to use single words. That could mean there's some developmental type of stuff. Social and emotional, at 1 month, they know their mom's voice because they can hear it in the womb. They discriminate. They'd rather see mom. Also, at 2 months, they have reciprocal smiling. At 4 months, they stop crying at parents' voice, spontaneous smiles. At 6 months, there's stranger anxiety, like they have a fear emotion. If a stranger picks them up, they're like, dude, put me down. 8 months, gaze monitoring and social referencing for emotional information. At 9 months, they have separation anxiety and they orient to their name. So they start to know their name then. And at 12 months, look to strangers for cues. 15 months, they'll do empathy and hugs because by then they're walking. At 18 months, they pretend to play. They have fake emotions, more complex emotions like shame, guilt, and pride. And then at 20 months, they can give you like a kiss with a pucker, like blow you a kiss. Emotional expression in infancy is predictive of sociability in adulthood. So if they're shy in like a young age, they're going to be shy older. Like you start having your personality by then. Now, temperament. There's characteristic pattern in which an infant responds and interacts with the environment, and that's biological. 9 dimensions of temperament. 3 types of children. There's the easy child, slow to warm up, and the difficult child. Was your sister the easy child, or the slow to warm up, or the difficult child?
This is not difficult.
Maybe the easy child.
I mean, well, like, she's a little sassy, so whenever she don't get the phone, she
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, she won't behave when she's you go out in public. She's not one of the ones who screaming crowd.
How many siblings do you have?
3.
Okay. Are you the oldest? And then middle.
18, 19 and 18. Got 3 sisters.
So 3 in 3 years?
Hmm.
Was there 3? Are you guys less than a year apart?
Yeah.
Like 11 months apart?
18, 19, and 20.
Okay. That's impressive. Anybody else have a lot of siblings? How many?
13.
Nice. Are you the oldest or the middle child?
I guess the same now. I'm like close to the youngest.
Okay. And then you all still see each other on holidays? No. Kind of more separated. Anyone you like the best? My wife had 7, I had 5 growing up, so you learn a lot from your siblings. Anybody else? How many kids?
I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
I have a twin, a little sister, and a big brother.
Oh, so you are the 2 true middle children,
Yeah.
like 2 minutes apart?
4 or 5 minutes apart.
Wow. Okay. Anybody else?
I have 5.
Okay. Middle child?
I'm the oldest.
Okay. There is research on oldest female siblings. They usually are the most, like, there's so much research. How many do you have?
I have 3, and I'm the middle child.
I'm a middle child. I usually get in trouble because you're the middle child. All right, maybe you guys knew this. Oldest daughter phenomenon. This might be one. Let's see if I can get it to talk. There it is.
And you feel like you have to be the rock of the family. Like you have to go
Is that true? You have to be the rock of the family? Okay.
through everything, make sure that everything looks fine. You want to fix everything. Or when you are the oldest daughter, you become a second parent to your younger siblings, whether you like it or not. And I think that happens as an oldest sibling in general. But you become a parent, so therefore you take on all these new lessons. But most of all, if you see that your parents can't fix something, you want to fix it and you take it on yourself. And I wouldn't say it's like the healthiest thing, but it does kind of make you worry about a lot of other things that you shouldn't be worried about because you are a daughter, a son yourself. And it's just wanting to fix everything, knowing that you don't have control over a bunch of other things. So,
Any of that true? Okay. Anybody else the oldest daughter? You? Or do you have an older sibling? Or does anybody have an oldest sister? Does she like that, the way they describe? There is research on it too. This might be it too. Here we go.
Eldest daughter syndrome is not an official mental health diagnosis. It's a term coined to describe the unique pressures and responsibilities placed onto the oldest daughter in the family. In short, those of us with EDS are responsible for more domestic labor than our siblings. And here are the 8 signs that you have it. Number 1, you have an intense feeling of responsibility. 2, you are an overachiever, type A, and very driven. 3, you worry a lot and probably have anxiety. 4, you struggle with people-pleasing behaviors. 5, you have a hard time placing and upholding boundaries. 6, you resent your siblings and family. 7, you struggle with feelings of guilt. And 8, you have a difficult time in your adult relationships.
Any of that true? Okay. Yeah, people are doing more and more research on it just because the oldest daughter, everyone in my family of my 5 siblings had an oldest girl first. So all had an oldest girl. My sister's an oldest girl. My mom's an oldest girl. It's kind of weird. So, implications for adult functioning. It's important to have the right match from environment for each temperament, like goodness of fit. We've already gone into attachment theory and strange situation, but forming a strong emotional tie to a caregiver is super important. Parents and children are biologically programmed to form a close bond, and that's by Dr. Bowlby. Easier when a baby is responsive to an adult because it creates a positive feedback loop. And the implications for function are interpersonal skills, self-control, and then strange situation assesses the attachment type. And I'll show you what strange situation actually was.
But can the essential elements of home life be translated into a standard laboratory setting for controlled scientific study? After conducting extensive observations of parents and children at home, a student of Bowlby's, Mary Ainsworth, devised such a procedure called the strange situation, which places the child under some stress. It has become the most widely used, standardized way to assess the quality of a child's attachment to their caregiver. Here the researchers are recording how 14-month-old Lisa responds in this attractive but unfamiliar setting.
So they start you out playing with toys, your mom's in the room, then they have mom leave, and they have a stranger come in. And how you respond to that stranger is how you diagnose your attachment type.
How will she react to a stranger? What will happen when her mother leaves the room? And when she returns? It's Lisa's behavior when her mother returns, what psychologists call the reunion, that they are particularly interested in.
Most importantly is to look for the type of balance that a child strikes between an attachment need and on the other hand to explore the play material.
Once Lisa has settled down to play, a stranger enters the room and sits in a chair reading a magazine. After a couple of minutes, the stranger attempts to interact with Lisa. Soon after, Lisbeth gets a cue to leave the room. The stranger tries to comfort Lisa, but in vain. Lisbeth comes back into the room and the camera records how Lisa reacts. Now the first part of the procedure is over, and Lisbeth settles Lisa down again. The stranger leaves them alone together. And soon after, Lisbeth goes too. Lisa is on her own. Her distress is plain to see. Once again, the efforts of the stranger to console Lisa are to no avail. But Lisbeth manages to calm her almost at once, and shortly afterwards the observation ends. Lisa showed outward signs of what's called secure attachment.
So that would be a secure attachment. If you are kind of happy mom came back, they also have the ambivalent attachment where you kind of look at them and.
In 1969.
Okay.
But can the essential element?
Have you guys ever watched a short movie called Removed? Or done any studies in adoption? Anybody here adopted or from a foster family at all? So when we get into that, I am going to show you the Removed. There might be a trailer too. I don't know. Removed trailer. And there's 3 of them. Actually, there's 4 now. And about specifically, I guess it's a horror movie too. I don't know if, they do have a trailer. Let's do it.
Sometimes someone hurts you so bad, it stops hurting at all. Until something makes you feel good. I don't think you understand. And then it all comes back. Every word, every hurt, every moment. How could you ever understand where I come from? Even if you ask, even if you listen, you do not really hear or see or feel. You don't remember my story. You haven't walked my path. You haven't seen what I've seen.
So next week we'll start on one of those, but it kind of gets into trauma again and some of the challenges with exposure to trauma. So the video we watched about attachment, the baby did show a secure attachment. They use mother as a secure base by plane. You also have some kids that are insecure and avoidant, and they don't use mother as a secure base. They're indifferent. Like the mom comes back in the room and they're just like, they just keep playing with their toy. They don't even give a damn if the mom left. Then you have insecure anxious, and that's clingy and reluctant to explore. or angry at mother. So it can go both ways. And that's kind of the three that they study with the attachment theory. And I know theories can be a lot, dipping into these now, but we use them a lot getting closer to graduation and graduate school. So with self-awareness, the sense of self as an object is at about a year and a half. You start, hello.
Hi. Isn't a meeting in person today?
I think it is remote, and you probably could put it on your phone and listen to it driving home. There's an active sense of self by birth, but it's not as unique. Like when you're at a year and a half, you know your individual self. There's a task to develop a sense of self as separate from others. Mahler is another theory, and there's the process of separation, individuation, and some of the implications for personality assessment and practice. So just like learning about us as a unique individual and your own self-awareness. Now, self-regulation, actually this starts a question for you guys. The first one is a question. What age do you think the baby, when not in the presence of others, can like obey? When do you think a baby can be good at what, when nobody's telling them what to do?
So at what age?
Yeah.
3.
Okay. Do they have babysitting ages now too? Like you have to be this old to babysit a baby? So, terrible twos is definitely a thing. They do get better by 3. They don't give an answer here, but here's a second question. What role does the process of self-referencing play in self-regulation of behavior? Which is a tough question to answer. Because you only learn self-regulation by like watching mom and dad calm themselves down. If you grew up in a screaming family like I did, like I told you to shut the fuck up, like you're going to learn that and pass that on through generations until you almost do a training and unlearn it, if that makes sense. Like if you grew up with screaming, yelling, which is almost kind of a normal American thing to do. But it's not super healthy. Like you've got to unlearn. Anybody have a screaming, yelling family you grew up with? No, nobody. You guys had it good. Like, what if they got mad? What would they do? How would they discipline you?
Just got beat.
Okay, right, yeah, like the belt or the metal side of the belt.
No, just belt or like this.
Right.
I'm a boy and my dad hit me.
Right. Yep. That's kind of how I had it. I'm trying to unlearn the process now that I have 4 under 5 years old, you know, like, but me and my wife were definitely both brought up in like screaming, like, you know, so it takes a minute. How were you disciplined? If you got in trouble, what would they do?
Just didn't have fun for a while.
Okay. That sounds good. I forgot phone was a punishment because would you believe in undergraduate I didn't even have, I had a pager and then we didn't have wireless until I was in graduate school, so we didn't even have laptops. All we had was desktops plugged into a wall. So, anybody else, how was the discipline style? Like if you got in trouble, what was it?
When I was older, it was really just taking certain privileges away, like phones.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I didn't really get in trouble like that. Like it was really just lectures and stuff like that.
That's good. And is that the same for all of you? Nobody had screamers for family growing up? Yeah, like I said, shut the fuck up. Yeah, okay. Right. Yep. That's kind of what we grew up with. So I have to unlearn it so I'm not like passing it on to my kids. I'm like, I try to sit next to them like, dude, please don't do that. When you do that, this is the consequence. It is easier to yell sometimes, like, stop. So And I say it, because that's all like a lot of friends. Well, it goes back to yesterday when she said if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And that used to be like a common phrase. So, but I guess what I'm saying is if you don't have parents who know how to self-regulate, it's hard for you to out of the gate know how to self-regulate. Like we have to teach ourselves and learn it. Maybe you have a friend or another family you'd hang out with and you're like, that seems like a normal way to act, not like always screaming or yelling or whatever. So the responses from others influences moral development, but the implication can be to avoid certain responses. Attachment problems. So if you have failure to form an attachment or even loss of a caregiver, you could have failure to thrive. And that could look physically, like the child's weight is below 5%. Even organic, they might have an underlying medical condition, or non-organic, like a psychological condition, emotional deprivation, or difficult family situations. So here are social strengths and hazards, the circular influence on the family. You've got parents and the baby response, family stress, marital interactions, and then it starts cycling. So like if you got the baby screaming and crying, that causes family stress, maybe the parents are more likely to fight. And so stopping kind of that cycle of violence by teaching the baby to self-soothe, doing self-care so you don't have family stress, and then have more mature family interactions. And handle stress in a way that's not going to cause one of the ACEs or adverse childhood experiences, whatnot. So some social strengths and hazards, and this is our last slide. We've got good news. Father involvement, need social support, even the maternal grandmother, that seems to be a caregiver who helps a lot. Playing with the baby, there's adoption and birth parents, daycare, infant abuse, appropriate environment. So be able to read what the baby needs, like playing at appropriate times. One practice tool is the home observation for measurement of the environment inventory. And I've never looked this one up, so I actually would like to. And see if we have, I didn't know we had one of those. All right. So here's one of the tools that they had just mentioned. Home observation of the environment. So it's infant and school aged. Yeah, it is a free download. Cool. Nope. Not if you don't belong to that library. Let's see if they have the book anywhere. So you'll get more of these if you guys take Karen's class. But here it is. So the purpose is to assess the quality of parenting in the home environment provided for the child. It's like an hour-long, semi-structured interview with the main caregiver of the child. You get more information about like nature and the variety of the child's day-to-day experiences, parenting capacity of the caregivers, other aspects of the child's world and the life of the family. Then you could take it at 0 to 3, or a different one at 3 to 6, 6 to 10, and then 10 to 14. It's you do have to pay for it. Dang it. So yeah, there's different things as social workers that we will use to assess people. But that's it. That's all I have for today, unless you guys have any questions about EcoMap.
When is that due?
What's that?
This week? I said, when is that due again?
I thought it was due on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
I think so. Is it in here for you guys to see?
It's due on the 30th.
Oh, is it?
Hey.
Okay. You're like, 12 days. So Tuesday the 30th. Here it is. Right here. You could start on your social work application if you wanted to. That's a good one to get into. You can finish that quickly too. And then picking a date to be a mental health presenter. And anybody know what mental health disorder they want to present on?
Not yet.
Like addictions or depression or even trauma, any of those? Well, then be safe this weekend. Enjoy your weekend.
You need an attendance sheet?
Yes. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, that's amazing. Shoot. Okay, there it is. I'm trying to do research and they want us to fill out the IRB stuff. So here is our beginning. You guys will do this your senior year too. But now it's all digital. You don't need to do the paper doc. See ya.
Yeah, I'm going.
All right, you too. Uh-oh. Go get them. Somebody's going to take them. Are you able to steal AirPods? Are people able to steal AirPods or they got the tracking device? Okay, good. Go get them. And enjoy your weekend. All right. What's that?
Nothing. Something to measure me out some prescription.
That's fun.